Welcome back to the Red Dice Diary, and in this GM's Tips video we're going to be talking about one of the great ways in which you can make an NPC stand out in your game, and that is to give them a distinctive accent or mannerism. So you might be saying, well, what if I'm no good at doing accents? Well, unless you're really terrible at them, then it doesn't normally matter. The players aren't expecting you to do a perfect impression of a particular vocal mannerisms, and they'll probably appreciate the fact that you've put in the effort. What accent you should pick for a particular NPC is a question that only you can answer, but there are a number of accents that we tend to associate with certain types of people, and these can be useful to instantly create a certain association in the minds of your player characters. Now, whether that is the Victorian gentleman who is all proper and prim and tends to do that at the end of a sentence and tip his top hat every now and again, probably wears some sort of monocle, whether it's the Leviscus barmaid who winks at the players as they enter the tavern with a quiet "hello my lover," whether it's the violent thug who wants to slap people or duff people up in the back alleys, or whether it's down to the sneaky conman who furtively looks about as though he's always expecting the city guard to rumble his scheme that he's on, or whether it's just some like brutal orc who wants to find the halflings and smash your village. Whatever it is, you don't have to be perfect at them. Most of the time the players will appreciate you've put the effort in, as long as you are comfortable with doing that. But if you are really terrible with accents, you can always go with mannerisms instead. Perhaps the trader always scratches his ear when he lies, or perhaps the police officer you're talking to is constantly chewing on gum. Any number of mannerisms that you could pick, and if you have trouble coming up with them on the fly, there's numerous generators online that can produce them for you, and you might like to have a few written down either on index cards or in a list, and you can just pick them as your game goes on. Mannerisms shouldn't be overused, since no one always scratches their ear or chews gum 100% of the time, but if an NPC is encountered more than once, the mannerisms can just help them stick in the minds of your players. There are a few things to bear in mind though when you're using accents and mannerisms. Although they can be great for creating an atmosphere and bringing to life otherwise fairly two-dimensional NPCs, you need to play them consistently. If the PCs bump into the same barman 3 weeks later and he sounds completely different, it shatters the illusion of consistency within the game. And there are two ways around this. The one that I recommend is to note down any accents and mannerisms in your NPC notes, and I find writing down "sounds like" and the name of a famous person who has a similar accent just helps spur my memory and remember how they spoke. But if you really can't remember how the NPC sounded, then concoct an IC reason for them to sound different. Perhaps the barman was sacked and replaced with a different man, or maybe his throat was scarred during an attack on the village. This approach can be useful for dropping in additional plot. After all, you could lead into some more details about the aforementioned attack where his throat was scarred, and that could spur off entirely new plot. But if it's used too much, then again it will strain the credibility of the setting. So there you go, with just a little thought and a few little extra notes and the willingness to perhaps make yourself look a little bit silly doing accents, you can add an awful lot to your game and an awful lot more individuality to otherwise fairly flat NPCs. So let me know what you think, or if you have any suggestions for NPC mannerisms or the use of accents within games, please either put them in the comments box below or hit me up in the Google Plus links. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You'll click on like and subscribe to the channel. We put out new videos every Wednesday. Until I see you next time, thank you very much, and I look forward to reading what you write. Take care.